Global Goons.
I'm not a rapper. I'm a singer. I'm a creative. I'm just trying to survive.
For Global Goons Media, I'm Uncle Pope, and you're listening to the Global Goons podcast. On this episode, I caught up with my associate and suave goon, Darlington Peters. Darlington is a musician, a singer-songwriter, and one half of the musical duo Project Peters. Darlington Peters, what it do, King? Welcome to Global Goons.
Yeah.
Musician, singer-songwriter, one half of Project Peters, filmmaker, videographer. Gee, is there anything you don't do?
We do it all, but I'm sure there's a few things that we can learn to do. Yeah.
My man, you're originally from Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
You're a musician. You also spent some time in the Australian Army.
Yes, sir.
Tell me all about that. When did you come to Australia, and tell me about growing up in Nigeria and being a first generation migrant here in Australia?
Came here 2003. So probably 13, 14. I remember how hot it was. We were in Dean Park and around Blacktown area. Oh my gosh. I was just like, why is this place so hot? Right? And
you came from Nigeria and you think it's hot here.
But it's different, man. Like the humidity is just Australia is you can't stuff with Australia, man. It's a different place.
Whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level. It's like we got I think dry heat. And it's different. So came here and I'm just like, wow, this is a great place. Because my dad has been here for quite a while. So we were back home and then, we ended up coming down and yeah, it was good. It was really good. Went to Plumpton High School, which was all right. I mean, when I say all right, like if you know, you know. Plumpton is not, I put it this way, I wouldn't send my kids there.
Where's that at?
Around close to Mount Druitt, Blacktown.
Southwest.
Yeah. So I was from Dean Park and Plumpton wasn't that far. Mm-hmm. So, I ended up going there, but that place was way too rough for me. I didn't quite understand. The Australians spoke way too fast. I just didn't understand what the hell my teacher was talking about. Of course, I spoke English. That's like our first language back in Nigeria. But, it's different accents. And I've never really heard this accent before. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then, you get used to it. And then year 11 and 12, I went to St. Andrews.
Right.
St. Andrews College in Mariong. And then, yeah, that was that. And after that, joined the Army. just joined the Army.
Straight out of high school?
No, went to uni for a year. Went to uni. I was doing behavioral science. And I was like, yeah, not for me. Mm. And then joined the Army. Still the best thing and the worst thing I have ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So you did 6 months or so at uni, and then you went to you joined the Army to go into the infantry, and you wound up at Airborne Infantry Unit.
Airborne for life. Yes, sir. That's one of my greatest achievements still till date.
Definitely.
That beret gives me life, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's funny how that happened as well. They were like, oh, we need guys in the 3rd Battalion, but you have to volunteer. I don't know if you probably remember this.
Same deal.
Yeah, you have to volunteer. And I'm like, what does airborne mean? And they were like, oh, there's battalions in Townsville. There's battalion in Brisbane. And then there's one in Sydney. And my family's from Sydney, so it was a no-brainer. I'm like, well, I'm going to Sydney. And they're like, oh, by the way, the ones in Sydney, they jump out of planes. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't have to go see my family that much. They're not worth it that much, are they? For me to jump out of a plane to just see them?
They're not that important.
They're not that important for me to break my back, which I did. And then, they just went, okay, everyone on this side, would you volunteer to go to 3?
Was this at Singleton?
At Singleton.
So this is at the School of Infantry.
Yes. His hands literally pointed to the left or pointed to the right. And I happened to be on the right side. And then I was like, okay, I guess I'll volunteer. And then some of the boys are like, that. They left. They went to the left side. They were like, I'm not going to 3.
Went to go be a crap hat.
Yeah, they were crap hats, mate. And then I didn't really obviously understand the lingo, as you would know. You think you know. You're like, yeah, I think I know what's going on. 3.
Sure.
Mate. And I think we were the first or second group to be trained in the battalion.
Third.
Oh,
I think you were Pinaroo Platoon 3.
Oh,
Were you Pinaroo Platoon? Because I was Pinaroo Platoon 2.
Okay,
so I did the same thing.
Oh, we're 3. Okay, there you go.
Because I remember
seeing those crap hats.
I remember you walking around the battalion.
Not
I was
very hard
at,
to see. The only black guy there, mate.
Yeah, and like I was up at Alpha Company, and I'd be kicking around up there, and we'd see you dudes walking around looking miserable as fuck.
Mate.
And I just remember laughing because a year ago it was me. You
just went through that.
That's right.
Pinaroo Platoon. Wow, you remember that? I totally forgot that name.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, dude, that's crazy.
OG Pinaroo Platoon 2 and 3 here.
Yeah.
And as you said, you weren't hard to miss.
No.
I think you're the only black guy in the battalion.
The entire battalion.
Yeah.
It was an interesting ride. Would I recommend it? Like if another black guy, which some other black guy asked me, it was like, hey man, I want to join the army. I was like, don't join the infantry. Straight away. He was like, oh, why? I was like, just don't. Because, I'm resilient. I know I can hack it. And I did. But, I was just like, don't join the infantry.
Not this guy, though.
Yeah, well, no, he could, but I just couldn't advise. He's my good friend.
It's funny. I had a good friend when I was do the same thing, and I said the exact same thing to him. I said, don't join the grunts, man.
Yeah.
And he ended up going to Cav, which I don't know how much real difference, I'm sure it's a real difference. Yeah. So, but I couldn't do it to him, so I understand.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure he could hack it. I'm sure he's resilient. But as a friend, I was like, I don't know if I would be in the right mind to say, my friend, please join this thing.
Yeah.
That is just crazy to say the least.
Definitely.
But he ended up joining the MP and he's still in the military. He's gone on 11 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's still there. He's going really strong.
Yeah, cool. So he's an MP.
Yeah. And he's
the most hated corps in the army.
Yeah. He went from what the guys, the logistic guys.
I like QEs in that.
QEs. Yeah, he was a QE. I think for 3 years, and then MPs for the last 7. Yeah, so now he's going to transfer to Air Force. Yeah, so he's making a full career out of it.
Yeah, right.
Which is great. It's good to see.
Yeah, for sure. So you pulled the pin in 2013.
Yes, sir. Did my back from jumping. Still airborne for life, but did my back from jumping.
Yep.
And the doctor was just like, they wrote not operational fit.
Yep.
And when I saw that, I was like, well, what am I doing here? If I can't go to the GAN, I mean, come on. What am I really doing here? What, train?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yep, I'm out. And I got out. And straight away, when I got out, went to the School of Audio Engineering. That's what I did whilst working part-time. And then before you know it, slowly, that's how I just opened my own business for music and just got into music. Don't even know how I kind of did that, but I had a goal. Me and my little brother, he just finished high school. And then he was like, I think my dad wanted him to study law or something, one of them typical African freaking careers where you have to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I'm like, no, music, that's what we do. Literally, music is what we do, right? And then thank God, he then went to Australian Institute of Music.
So this is your little brother Joseph.
My little brother Joseph,
who's the second half of Project Peters.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the one. He so we just kind of I did the engineering side of things. He did the composition, the musical side of things. Together, we formed our little Project Peters Studios. And that was situated in Surrey Hills for about 5 years. And then, due to just working with different types of personalities, I was not keen on continuing that venture. I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this now.
It was a diplomatic way of saying that, bro. Were you guys always interested in music back when you were younger and back when you lived in Nigeria?
Yeah, because you were in Alpha Company. You wouldn't have been in the same barracks as us. You know how...
Oh, the lines.
The lines, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone in Bravo knew that I was doing music in the barracks. I was literally recording every single day. So I had my setup since before I joined the army.
Yeah.
I was always like, yep, this is what I want to kind of do and stuff like that. After a hard day in the battalion, when you're all sore and walking back to your room, I'll open the door, see my laptop, see my mic set up. I'll just be happy. And I'll barely even have a shower. And I'm probably like just all dirty. And I'm just recording for hours. And the guy, oh, shut the fuck up. Peters, shut the fuck up. That's all you hear. Like, for real. Like,
So covered in, filth from being out in the bush for a month.
Yep.
And then straight back into your happy place.
Straight in there, man. And you just disappear. Like, you don't exist. Like, time doesn't exist. You just float. And it was such a happy thing. And, even the boys like screaming for me to shut the fuck up. I didn't even hear it. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes they'll actually come to the door and bang on it like, Peters, I'm trying to sleep. And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, I'll check the time. And I'm like, oh crap. It's literally like 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh yeah. They're actually tired. And there's some of the boys, they're lifers. They're like,
that's it.
Army. I will never be defined by what I do. Even music, I just will never be defined by music. I'm much more than my job.
It's just a piece.
It's just one piece of the puzzle,
I think that's really interesting, like, especially upon leaving the army. I get the feeling, and certainly I felt this in a way, in a sense, so many people lose big pieces of their identity when they leave something like the army, and that can take a long time to get used to.
Yep.
And some people never get used to it.
Yep.
And I think some people can hold on to that for a long time.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a really painful thing to see when you see dudes like that. So it's positive to hear that you're one of those people who can just take that experience and say, hey, that's one part of my life and I appreciate it for what it was, but that's not who Darlington Peters is. That's just one element.
It's true, man. It's self-identity is such a strong tool, in my opinion. As a Nigerian, I'm very proud of being Nigerian, so first and foremost, that was the thing that I was proud of. So I already had that as a backbone, right? Then I joined the army. So I was part of this green machine, right? Literally a machine. And this machine moves with or without you, right? Like they say, you join the army didn't join you. And which is fair enough. Funny though, I don't like being told what to do. So it's so weird how I joined the army. Like, it's really interesting.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah. And people don't know this, that most military guys don't actually like being told what to do. I reckon if you ask 10 infantrymen and tell them, like, do you really love being told what to do every time? I reckon 9 out of 10, they'll be like, fuck no.
Fuck no.
That's why we a little bit different from the rest.
For sure.
Yeah, we join that because it's something that we know we're going to struggle with. You face that struggle, If it was easy, then I don't think our personality type would have joined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think you're absolutely right that there is a certain personality type that's drawn to
difficulty,
that role and hardship. Exactly right. And it is funny. Most blokes that I knew at the Boon weren't the type of bloke that, would want to get told what to do.
No. So owning and operating my own thing was a must. As soon as I left the army, I was like, oh my God, I cannot work for anyone anymore. And yeah, music was a savior. And to go back to your question, actually, me and my brother, we've always done music since forever. My little brother Joseph started, even things like at the age of 2, he could do that. I know some 30-year-olds that still can't even do that basic.
Can't carry a rhythm.
Yeah, when the guy was like 2, before he could speak, he could stick to a rhythm. If that's not all natural and just his calling, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it's in the genes, in the DNA.
It's literally in his DNA, and he doesn't really have to try either. Like, even now, I just did a spec ad for a Nike spec ad, and I shot the entire video, and I'm like, hey man, I want the music sort of like this and blah, 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 blah. This guy just did it like in one night. You know how when you're so used to someone and they do certain things and you think you get used to it and whatnot? No, you don't. You don't get used to it.
Keeps surprising you.
Yes, and all this time we live together and it still surprises me.
Obviously the talent runs in the family, man, which is very cool. Tell me about some of the music. I mean, to me, I really dig it. It sounds I can hear a lot of heavy R&B influence, a lot of rap influence. And like, for the record, man, like I'm a rap fiend. I have been a rap fiend since probably second grade. First time I heard Wu-Tang Clan, I think in 94.
Wow.
That was it for me. Like, you
really?
know, so I say that with all sincerity. Like when I listen to your music, I hear a lot of 90s influence from R&B in it.
It can't be helped.
Which I think is dope, really dope. Because I think 90s era R&B was some of the freshest shit out.
It was 90s era R&B is R&B.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to speak, you know, because we kind of transition into hip hop, because R&B, hip hop now, in my opinion, is almost like hand in hand.
For sure.
Whereas in the 90s, R&B cats were R&B cats. Hip hop cats were like hip hop cats. You know, when you're a rap guy, you're a rap guy. Now, rappers are holding on to melodies. Rappers are literally singing, you know? So the lines are like blurred.
I feel like Drake was one of the first cats to really, in the mainstream, capture that,
he proved that it was possible.
For sure.
And you didn't have to be like a gangster. Well, Kanye actually proved that you didn't have to be a gangster. Then Drake was like, yeah, sweet, you know? This is, as I say, quote unquote, a dark skin thing, but a light skin guy is going to come in and kill the game, you know? And then he did it. And he, in my opinion, yeah, you're right. He's the first to prove like, hey guys, we can have commercial success.
Yeah.
With mixing this two together.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who would you attribute your influences to?
Most people are not going to like this, but R. Kelly is like my...
the Pied Piper of R&B, baby.
Yeah, man. R. Kelly is like, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like,
he's a brilliant musician.
Most people don't know most songs that you're like, oh, I'm never going to listen to R. Kelly ever again. Sure, don't. But I can tell you other of your favorite artists, right? R. Kelly wrote those songs that they sang and that you're listening to and you're enjoying so much. You may have boycotted R. Kelly, but you're still listening to R. Kelly.
Without knowing it. Yeah, for sure.
Of course, I don't condone any of that behavior, but he's my influence. Just telling the truth. That was my influence.
For sure. And it's interesting, isn't it, in the age that we live in now with cancel culture and that sort of thing. You know, what's the line? There was that Finding Neverland film that came out about Michael Jackson. Right. Yeah. And then, you know, you've got Surviving R. Kelly, and it's like, how do you navigate being a fan of one of those people if you are,
yeah.
Or being able to justify listening to that music when we live in an era where it's like, no, publicly that person's been executed and that shit's not okay anymore.
I still listen to R. Kelly.
Yeah.
I do. Like I said, I don't condone the behavior.
How would you describe the sound of Project Peters?
It's basically a collection of all our influences. And we grew up, like my mom played Marvin Gaye, Bob Marley. Those are the songs I actually grew up with. So Bob Marley is still like my favorite artist of all time. So those are the guys we grew up with. So I can't help. And of course, some African artists as well, you know? We got Wizkid and all of them. We had P Square as well for a long while. So for me, it's like, it's a collection. And when I write as well, I don't think about, oh, I have to write about this in this structure. I'm always free. So Project Peters is just I call it like just a free creative. We're just free to create. So sometimes you hear us do like a dancehall record, then next one is Afro, and next one is R&B. Sometimes all of it in one track, you know? So yeah, it's a collection of all of our influences.
That must feel good to not sort of be confined into any particular genre or style.
Mate, put it this way. If you are going to create, you might as well love what you're doing, because there's nothing worse than gaining fame or success in doing something that you're just like, oh, maybe I'll just do this because they like it. Because the thing about the audience is once they love you for that thing that you don't like doing, you're stuck doing that.
That's all you got to be for the rest of your life.
That's all you have for the rest of your life. And me and my brother, we kind of came to the conclusion that it rather takes us a longer time to get to that success, but doing exactly what we love doing, then compromise what we love doing to get to that success quicker. You know what I mean? You know, I'm ready to do this for another 5, 6, 7 years in doing what I'm doing to ascertain my success, rather than literally go, okay, cool, I don't like making this kind of music, but it's hot right now, so might as well make that kind of music. I would never do that. Never will. You know, this whole grime thing in Sydney right now is happening. It doesn't make any difference to Project Peters. We're still going to keep blowing out the kind of music that we love. I need to love to listen to my song because I would never expect the audience to love it if I don't love it, right? So yeah, stick to what you're good at. Stick to being free when you create, and it doesn't matter.
If you could work with any artist right now, who would it be?
Oh, T-Pain.
Yeah?
Oh my Jesus. Yeah, man. Like I said, like R. Kelly was my influence. T-Pain is the epitome of free creative, in my opinion. He would just, look at the way he flows with his raps, and then he would then sing, and he's just free. The guy just seems like he's just having fun, which is, if you love your job, you never work one day in your entire life, right? And I feel like T-Pain, especially now that he's like independent, you can see he's just happy. He's just happy, and I want to work with that energy.
Yeah,
that could only bring positive energy to you. If you're around people with positive energy, it's only gonna, So T-Pain, man, T-Pain. I could really say, oh, Drake and all them, sure, but if I'm being honest, T-Pain, I love him.
Is his sort of career trajectory something you could see for yourself in terms, is that what you would sort of measure success from?
The measurement of success is that one, man. I can't really define that, only because as human beings, what we want at a certain time is how we measure success, right? Until something else happens. So my ideal success is being financially free, ownership of my music, ownership of my creativity, and being able to take care of my family. That, to me, is success. The level of fame doesn't really bother me that much. The ability to take care of my family, it's all that counts for me. So if my music can just allow me to take care of my family, mate, I don't care what anyone thinks. My success is pretty much at 100%.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Tell me about the track Sip Slow, and tell me about Ronami and how all that went down.
So there's a guy called Wood. He is part owner of a production company called UCMG, Ayo and Keys. I don't know if you've heard those producers before. They're called Ayo and Keys. So they produce WAP. They've done
Cardi B.
Yeah, WAP. They've done most major Chris Brown records. They're up there. I never got to talk to them, only liaise with their manager, which is Wood. So I'm a hustler, man. I would see what's going on in the world of R&B, in the world of writing and whatnot. I was on Instagram and I saw Wood and I followed him. What do you know? A week later, he posted something saying, yo, need writers, fresh writers. This is the email. If you got some dope records, send your track to this email. I sent a track, it bounced back. The email he gave was full. So pretty much everyone sent an email, right? And then he wrote back saying, hey, sorry guys, that email was completely full. So here's another one. We need more. In my head, I'm like, damn, then they're going to look at 50,000 emails. I was like, what are the chances? Anyways, I did it again anyways. The next morning I woke up, he DM'd me going, yo, did you write that? I was like, yeah, me and my brother, we wrote that. In my head, I'm like, huh, okay. He listened to mine. And then he's like, yo, man, that's dope, man. I was like, okay. And then it's like, okay, cool. Look, I'm going to send you some of these tracks. I'm going to send you some instrumental from Ayo and Keys. And I'm like, oh, wow, Ayo and Keys. I was like, yo, that's dope. At this time, I was running my studio in Surrey Hills. So he sent me some records. So I'll leave my house 6 a.m. and I'll be back to mine 3 a.m. We're just literally recording. We're just recording. So we did all this recording and sent it back to him. So he saw the level of our writing, right? To them, that's what's important. How is your flow? How is the melody? Is it catchy? What's your lyrics like? So in my head, we don't make any noise here in Australia. So it kind of kills your confidence as an artist when locally no one sees what you're doing. But from that experience, I kind of learned that it doesn't really matter what's happening around you. As long as just anyone and someone is appreciating that art, just keep going, right? So basically he was like, yo, this is dope and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he goes, look, your voice and your writing could really suit one of my dudes. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, no problem. And then I think he spoke to Rotimi, and then Rotimi then DM'd me. So all this is a space of probably like 4 months now. Rotimi DM'd me, yo, hey man, what's good? We started talking. And then I sent him some tracks. He was like, yo, this is really dope. So he recorded at least 4 or 5 of the songs that I sent him And then one of my manager's contacts called Clinton Sparks. He used to have a radio here, Clinton Sparks Radio. I don't know if you've ever heard that. So he lives in LA. He used to be P. Diddy's DJ, tour DJ back in the day. So he linked us with Atlantic Records in the States. So we were like, oh shit. So we flew over to the States and it was a writing camp for Kalani and all those artists. So we were one of 4 artists who were in this writing camp. So we did all that, 2 weeks in the States. And then I hit up Rodney, yo man, I'm in LA. And he's like, oh, I'm in Atlanta. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And he goes, oh, but I'm coming down for there was some basketball weekend, something. I'm not a fan of basketball, so I don't really know. He hit me back up saying, I'm going to be at a club, come through. And I was like, oh, I don't think we're going out tonight. The engineer at Atlantic said, hey man, we're going out. We rocked up to the club. Guess who was at the club? Rodney was at the club. And then in my head, I was like, well, he doesn't really know me. We've never met before. So he would never recognize me. Rodney literally was like, yo, Darlington. And I was like, what? He recognized me just from my Instagram. And then he took us to this VIP section. So it was literally just me, Rodney, and a whole bunch of women, and then his manager. And I'm just like, okay, this just happened. And then his manager came saying, oh, look, we're going to New York. I heard the tracks you sent to Rodney, man. They were really dope. We're going to New York to go record tomorrow. You guys want to come? Bro, we didn't have the money to fly to New York. And I'm not going to tell him like, if you pay for my flight, I'll come down. So that was that. 3 days later, we go back to Australia. And then slowly, he goes, yo, I'm putting an EP together. Joseph made that instrumental. It's just very simple. And then that evening, I was like, oh, let me just write this. I was, to be honest, not feeling it. Didn't want to do anything that evening. Just wrote the song. Sip Slow. Sent it to him, and he wrote back, yo, man, this the one. And literally 6 months later, everything got released. Because you don't know how things are going. He doesn't even really know, because at the end of the day, the team that they're working with, the Empire, has to probably all have to come to a compromise to what tracks has to go in the EP. And then when he released it was the day we heard that the track that we wrote made the EP.
Right. And that's the track Sip Slow.
Sip Slow. And the entire EP went #1 in the UK and all that. I was just like, yo, in my head, I was like, it was a great day.
Yeah. It went #1 on iTunes, I think, straight away.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah. And so for people that don't know, Rodney is a musician, and obviously he's an actor. He plays Dre on the show Power. Yeah. The Stars show Power. Yeah. And then I think he was endorsed by 50 Cent and G Unit Records and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's I think he's going to be in the new Coming to America.
Yes,
too. Yeah,
Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on that joint,
too,
man. I fucking love that movie.
I know, me too. He's really good. But yeah, we used to talk, and after all that, we haven't been in contact ever since. Not really sure why, but hey man, when that success level goes up, I don't blame him. Maybe I'll do the same.
So let's get down to brass tacks. Did you guys get paid for that or what?
I'm still waiting.
You're still waiting?
Yeah, I'm still waiting to get paid for that.
And how that was 2 years ago?
2 years now, yeah.
So
almost. If not 2 years, almost 2 years.
So Rodney, if you're hearing it, the check's due.
That's a funny thing. It's not the behind the scenes. It's a very confusing thing, right? If I wasn't in it, I would never have known. That's not the artist's problem, so to speak. It's really not. It actually comes down to the label. So we've got APRA onto it.
I was going to say, so you've got APRA in your corner.
Yeah. APRA is definitely onto it. We got someone who is specifically, literally
case managing that.
Yeah, which is great. APRA is really good. Yeah. So.
Shout out to APRA.
Shout out to APRA.
Looking after my boy, Darlington and Project Peters.
Yeah, but they should probably give a few more ethnics some of those grants though.
Yeah.
Those grants, man. I don't know why we've applied for so many.
And who seems to get the most of them?
Oh, I think white Australia seems to get most of them. And of course, they still give it to the indigenous. And I feel, this is my opinion, may not be true. I feel that they just meet in the quotas. Okay, cool, we have to give it
so it's tokenistic.
Yeah, of course, to indigenous this year. Yeah. Maybe, you know?
So those grants, if
they're really hard to get.
Yeah. And what is one of those grants worth if you get it?
Well, it depends. There's one I'm trying to apply for right now. It's not from APRA. It's from something else. That's only $5,000. $5,000 when it comes to doing a project is nothing.
That's peanuts.
It's like $1. but still, it's something. So shout out to whoever put up that money still. But yeah, some of those grants are like 10K. You know, artists, man, we don't get paid at all. So like if
being in the creative industry is almost the wrong industry if you want to get paid.
It's the worst.
Especially in this country.
If you want to get rich quick, not the right industry for you, buddy.
You need to own a construction firm or something.
Yeah, you know.
Here in Sydney.
Yeah, go be a surgeon.
Yeah.
That'll get you money real quick.
So did that whole experience with Rotimi, did that sort of sour any waters for you in regards to writing music for other artists?
I'm grateful for it, but it just made me want more, really. But just over the years from working with so many artists or people, I think is the different personality types that I'm struggling with. And I want to write for bigger artists now, you know? So for me, it's writing for bigger artists. But right now, we're just concentrating on our own music. I'm not trying to do any placements right now. I'm just trying to like get Project Peters where it's meant to actually be. The aim is for people to recognize that, you know, we got what it takes, and everything you hear, we do it from the ground up. So a lot of work goes into it, a lot of thinking, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time. Because what people need to realize is if you choose to do music full time, you've already sacrificed a lot.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's not fancy, man. You know, maybe these rappers out here be talking about Gucci and all that, but I'm not a rapper. I'm a singer. I'm a creative. I'm just trying to survive.
I think, you know, in your particular industry, the creative industry, certainly the music industry, whether it's rap or, you know, R&B.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everyone's living that Instagram life where it's like throwing clout around and
so much clout,
you know, everyone's
crazy.
Acting like their life is popping off on the gram. But, you know, motherfuckers have 2 cents in the fucking bank.
You know what I mean?
And no one owns property and people are living in debt.
Exactly.
You know, it's all, you know, it's so much front.
Now, my favorite one is when the rappers, they all, especially some people in Sydney, they'll rap about, you know, money and all that. And then they haven't actually paid for their session, so, you know.
Pay the engineer, motherfucker.
Yeah, get my money, man.
That's it. Otherwise, we're going to have to rock up at your fucking house.
Yeah, man.
Because we don't fucking play around.
Yeah, you know, that's a funny thing, too. It's like, you know, because there's a lot of people claiming gangster right now in Sydney, like a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty popular now.
Yeah, which is cool. But people obviously know that you don't have to be a gangster to show up and show out. You don't have to. No.
And you don't have to talk about being a gangster to rock up on someone's fucking doorstep and bang on their door.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, you know, when you tend to hit high notes and do a couple of harmonies, people think you're soft.
They start to question your street credibility.
Yeah. They think you're soft. But yeah, the ones who have tried, they know.
Yeah, I bet they know.
Yeah, but it's just don't let the high notes fool you, man.
Yeah. Definitely don't let the fucking high notes fool you. Yeah, man. Funny. Project Peters, he's not playing games. Fucking pay the man if you use the studio. Fucking pay the man.
Just pay. To be honest, man, I feel like most engineers, like obviously I'm coming from being an artist, being an engineer, just doing everything. Most engineers really don't get paid enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah. Because back in the day, you know, some of the Michael Jackson engineers, they used to take points from the records, right?
Yeah.
And then these guys are becoming fucking multi-millionaires, and then the labels are like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Because for a Michael Jackson record, if you take 0.1 or just 1 point, well, mate, and that's on Thriller, you're done.
That's right.
Your kids will still be eating right now.
Well, look at like WAP. You know, that's 260 plus million listens on Spotify or whatever.
That's crazy.
If you take 50 cents of a point, you know, forget about it. like that's like you said, your grandkids are set.
And that's with Corona as well, because
exactly
she didn't get to do a live for that
release.
Yeah. Well, like, you know, go do live concerts, which is where most artists actually get paid.
Get the money.
Yeah. So, and it's coming. Every artist has literally moved the entire money making machine till 2022.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's going to be a lot of tours, especially in the States and in Australia, like next year. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, another thing about the engineers from like the Michael Jackson era and people in the film and music industry in the States, I think in the States they have really strong unions in the creative industries.
Yep.
In Australia, we have none.
No, we're not. No.
So there's no one looking out for you.
There's no money in Australia, really. Like, when it comes to the creative industry.
Certainly not to the extent of the US.
And shout out to like, Edge 96.1, man. They keep playing a lot of the local acts.
They play your stuff, yeah?
Yeah, they do. And a lot of other artists from Sydney and Australia in general. So that's really dope, man.
Who do you like from Australia at the moment? Other artists?
Mate, Spacely, Manu. His main name is Manu Crooks. But I have to say, there's a lot. There's another one called Ben McKenna. I work with him a lot. He's really dope. But I have to say, one of my favorite, his name is Blessed. He's a musician. And I feel like he's just free. He creates with freedom. And you can hear it in the music. And that's why I'm so attached to his music. When he releases songs, I have to listen to it straight away. I can't help myself. And I've actually known him for quite a while too. Since probably like when I was 18 or 17. Like, yeah, he's really good. So Blessed, the Manus, the McKinnas, the Spaceleys.
You did a joint with Spacely called Husky?
Husky, man. I had to let him know real quick what's good.
Yeah, that track bangs, man.
Yeah, that beat is so aggressive. Shout out to Cocky Bushak. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but they get it.
Yeah, that track bangs for sure. Check it out, Husky. Spacely, Darlington Peters is dope.
Yeah, super dope, man. Super dope.
Thanks so much for coming through and having a chat with us here on the Global Goons podcast, man. I really appreciate it.
No stress.
Much respect to you and much success to yourself and Joe and Project Peters for 2021 and the future.
Thank you, man. And much success to this as well, man. Shout out to you, bro. You're killing it.
Oh, actually, quickly, what do you got coming up?
So we're working on a EP at the moment. It's different. Like I said, we just create. It's got this hint of R&B and rock. We thought we'd try something, a little bit different. So it's R&B, Afro, and rock all mixed into one song. And visually as well, we've been working with some guy in England. I'm using Unreal Engine to create the visuals. So it's been taking months, almost 2 months to make that. But watch out for that. It's going to be crazy. No one has done it.
Any idea when that's going to drop or?
March or April. Just, yeah, you know how it is as creatives, man. You think it's ready and then you hear one little thing. You're like, yeah, let's go back.
Where can people find your stuff?
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, literally anywhere that you can stream music and things like that. Like everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. I haven't posted anything yet there. But yes, we're there. Just Project Peters, everything.
And check your socials for Project Peters.
Yes, thank you.
For Global Goons Media, I'm Uncle Pope, and you've been listening to the Global Goons podcast. Make sure you check out Global Goons on social media for upcoming content and podcast releases. If you'd like to show support, check us out on Patreon for access to exclusive Global Goons content. Until next time, stay strapped and keep living that goon life. Uncle Pope out.